Welcome to part 72 of the Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg, where we explore true crime, urban legends, mysterious disappearances, myths and legends, internet mysteries, and more. David Glenn Lewis, an attorney from Amarillo, Texas, vanished under mysterious circumstances on January 31st, 1993, the day of Super Bowl 27. Lewis's wife and daughter returned home from a shopping trip to find their house in an unusual state. The VCR was recording the big game, 2 turkey sandwiches were in the refrigerator, and Lewis's watch and wedding ring were left on the kitchen counter. Despite these clues, Lewis was nowhere to be found. The following day, a taxi driver in Dallas recalled taking a nervous man, matching Lewis's description, from a hotel to the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. This man paid in cash from a wad of $100 bills. Concurrently, back in Amarillo, Lewis's absence was noted when he missed 2 work appointments, prompting his wife to report him missing. At around 10:30 p.m. on February 1st, 1993, motorists in Moxie, Washington, reported seeing a disoriented man walking along State Route 24. When they turned back to warn other drivers, they found the man dead, the apparent victim of a hit and run. The deceased, lacking identification, was labeled as John Doe and buried near Yakima, Washington. Initial investigations into Lewis's disappearance and the unidentified hit-and-run victim proceeded separately. In Amarillo, police discovered Lewis's red Ford Explorer parked near the courthouse with his keys under the floor mat and his checkbook, driver's license, and credit cards inside. His wife reported that only a pair of green sweatpants was missing from his wardrobe. Financial records indicated unusual activity, including a $5,000 withdrawal from his bank account on January 30th. This was followed by plane tickets purchased in his name from Amarillo to Dallas and Los Angeles to Dallas. Despite these clues, the investigation stalled out. Lewis had received death threats during his time as a judge and was involved in a number of contentious legal cases in his time, leading his family to suspect foul play. However, the police speculated he might have left voluntarily due to professional and personal pressures. The case remained cold until 2003, when Detective Pat Ditter revisited it, spurred by a series on missing persons. Utilizing internet searches, Ditter linked the unidentified hit-and-run victim in Washington to Lewis. The discovery of Lewis's distinctive glasses among the deceased's possessions confirmed the connection. DNA testing provided definitive proof that the John Doe was indeed David Glenn Lewis, ending an 11-year mystery about his identity, but leaving many questions open. The circumstances leading to Lewis's presence in Washington, the nature of his journey, and the identity of the driver responsible for his death remain unresolved. Lewis's family believes he was likely kidnapped and transported across the country, while police have not entirely ruled out voluntary disappearance. Notably, David Glenn Lewis had no known connections to the Yakima area, nor to Washington state in general. This was a suggestion by Discord community member and patron Monoxide Wendigo. If you're interested in sharing your suggestion for this series, join the Discord by clicking the link in the description or leave a comment. The Simpsons predictions. The Simpsons, the longest-running American animated show, has gained a reputation for its alleged eerie ability to predict the future. With its debut in 1989, the show has produced over 700 episodes filled with satirical humor and often touching on real-world issues. The Simpsons first caught the public's attention with its predictions in the early 1990s. One of the earliest examples was in the 1992 episode Lisa the Greek, where Lisa predicts the outcome of the Super Bowl, which came true just days after the episode aired. This pattern of predicting Super Bowl results continued successfully for several years, cementing the show's reputation for prognostication. In the episode Bart to the Future, which aired in 2000, a future Lisa Simpson becomes President of the United States and mentions inheriting a budget crisis from President Trump. This prediction seemed far-fetched at the time, but became reality when Donald Trump was elected president in 2016. In yet another episode, the characters parodying Siegfried and Roy are attacked by their trained white tiger. A decade later, Roy Horn was attacked by one of their tigers during a live show, leading to the end of their performances. An episode from 1998 featured a sign that read, 20th Century Fox, a division of the Walt Disney Company. Nearly 2 decades later, Disney acquired 21st Century Fox in 2017, making this another striking prediction. The episode Lisa's Wedding predicted technology like video calling and smartwatches. Lisa speaks to Marge using a video phone, a precursor to FaceTime, which Apple introduced in 2010. Additionally, the show depicted a watch that could make phone calls, similar to the Apple Watch launched in 2015. The Simpsons movie featured a scene where the NSA spies on citizens' conversations. This became eerily relevant when Edward Snowden exposed the extent of NSA surveillance in 2013. Theories about how the writers managed these predictions range from the plausible to the fantastical. Some believe it's simply a matter of probability and the law of large numbers. With so many episodes covering a wide range of topics, some are bound to coincide with future events. Some fans believe that the writers have inside information or are time travelers. Others speculate that the writers have a deep understanding of socio-political trends and extrapolate potential outcomes based on current events. However, believers argue that the predictions seem too specific and too numerous to be mere coincidences, and note that other similar shows do not display this pattern. The disappearance of Susie Lampa. On July 28, 1986, 25-year-old real estate agent Susie Lampa left her office to meet a client known as Mr. Kipper for a house viewing in Fulham, London. Susie's last known movements were well documented. She left her office at Sturgis & Sons at around 12:40 p.m., taking her car keys, house keys, and purse, but leaving her handbag behind. She was seen waiting outside a property around 12:50 p.m. By 1 p.m., she was joined by a man presumed to be Mr. Kipper, and they were seen walking away from the house. When she failed to return to work, her manager reported her missing by 6:45 p.m. Her white Ford Fiesta was found that night, hastily parked in Stevenage Road, about a mile from her office. The driver's door was unlocked, the handbrake was off, and her purse was inside, but her keys were missing. Despite extensive searches using police dogs, helicopters, and public appeals, no trace of Susie was found. The investigation faced several challenges from the start. Initial inquiries focused on her boyfriend and roommate, but both had solid alibis. Police also explored the possibility that Mr. Kipper was an alias, and one theory suggested that it could be an anagram of kidnapper if combined with another name. One of the most prominent suspects was John Cannon, a convicted criminal who was known to use the nickname Kipper in prison. Cannon had been released from prison shortly before Susie's disappearance and was living in a hostel in London. A cab driver identified him as the man seen with a bottle of champagne on the day Susie vanished. Despite this, there wasn't enough evidence to charge him. Witnesses also reported seeing a dark-colored BMW speeding away from the area where Susie's car was found. One jogger recalled seeing a blonde woman matching Susie's description struggling with a man in the car, but this lead did not yield concrete results. The disappearance had a profound impact on Susie's family and the public. Her parents, Paul and Diana, established the Susie Lampa Trust in December 1986, dedicated to promoting personal safety and supporting victims of stalking and violence. This led to significant changes in safety practices and awareness campaigns across the UK. In the following years, various searches and inquiries have been conducted, but none have brought definitive answers. Despite the continued efforts and advancements in forensic science, the case remains unsolved. The Wrangle Island woolly mammoths. Wrangle Island, located in the Arctic Ocean off the coast of Siberia, became the last refuge for the woolly mammoths, where they survived long after their mainland counterparts had disappeared. Woolly mammoths roamed much of the northern hemisphere during the last ice age, but rising temperatures and human activities began to shrink their habitats around 15,000 years ago. By approximately 10,000 years ago, most mammoth populations had vanished from the mainland. However, a small population found sanctuary on Wrangle Island, which had become isolated from the mainland due to rising sea levels around 12,000 years ago. The Wrangle Island mammoths managed to survive until approximately 4,000 years ago. This remarkable longevity has been attributed to several factors. The isolation provided a refuge from human hunting, which was a significant threat to mammoths elsewhere. Additionally, the stable climate and abundant resources on Wrangle Island supported their continued existence. Genetic studies have provided deep insights into the lives of these mammoths. Researchers analyzed the genomes of mammoths from Wrangle Island and compared them to those of their mainland relatives. These studies revealed that the island's mammoth population experienced a decline in genetic diversity due to inbreeding, but this did not immediately lead to their extinction. The population remained relatively stable despite accumulating mildly harmful mutations brought on by inbreeding over time. Interestingly, the mammoths on Wrangle Island showed no significant signs of dietary stress or habitat changes leading up to their extinction. Previous theories suggested that a combination of climate change and human hunting led to their demise, but recent research points to a different culprit: icing events. These events, where rain falls on snow and then freezes, create a thick layer of ice that prevents herbivores from accessing their food sources. Such conditions likely caused a sudden and catastrophic decline in the mammoth population around 4,000 years ago. The precise reasons for the sudden extinction of the Wrangle Island mammoths remain somewhat of a mystery. While the population was genetically viable and their environment relatively stable, the icing events may have been devastating. Additionally, a potential lack of freshwater resources on the island might have exacerbated the situation, leading to their rapid disappearance. Notably, there are some claims that early Russian explorers of the island reported sighting large, shaggy beasts on the island as late as the 19th century. Proponents of this theory argue that this is evidence of much later survival of these creatures. However, skeptics have claimed that these sources were likely referring to other animals, such as musk oxen. This was a suggestion from Discord community member Lauren Redmond. Thomas Thursday. Thomas Thursday is a mysterious figure in literary history, known primarily for his extensive career as a pulp writer. Born in 1894, Thursday's real name is unknown. He began his writing career with A Stroke of Genius, published in Top Notch magazine on April 1st, 1918, and continued to write for various pulp magazines until the late 1950s. His pseudonym, Thursday, was chosen after he saw a calendar while submitting his first story. Thomas Thursday's writing style was unique, primarily focusing on humor, which was uncommon in pulp fiction. His works often featured clever wordplay and themes revolving around circuses, sideshows, and swindles, reflecting his youthful experiences working for numerous circuses. Some of his notable story titles include Illiterature, Young Mild West, and Of Lice and Men. Despite his early success, Thursday's career faced significant challenges during the Great Depression. The economic downturn and the evolving landscape of pulp magazines led to a decline in the market for general humor. Adapting to the changing times, Thursday began writing humorous sports stories, detective fiction, and true crime articles, particularly focusing on cases from Miami, Florida, where he had relocated in the late 1920s. Thursday's true crime articles were particularly notable, providing a gritty, first-hand look at the criminal underworld of Miami. He wrote for various true crime magazines and even served as a columnist for the Miami Police News until its closure in 1967. His how-to articles for writers, often published in Writer's Digest and The Author and Journalist, displayed his growing frustration with the writing industry. He was especially dissatisfied regarding the declining word pay rates and the perceived incompetence of pulp magazine editors. In the broader context of literary history, writers like Thursday played a crucial role in shaping the genre, bringing humor, mystery, and adventure to millions of readers. That said, even though his works were read by millions of people over 5 decades, he is a complete unknown. His personal life remains largely undocumented, and much of what is known comes from his published works and the few articles he penned about his own experiences. This lack of concrete biographical information has led to speculation among literary historians and fans. Some believe he may have led a double life, with a completely different identity known only to a close circle of friends and family. Others suggest that his reclusive nature was a deliberate choice to maintain creative freedom without public scrutiny. Still others suggest that Thomas Thursday was a composite character used by a group to publish their less than stellar works. The Missing Fab Eggs. The Fabergé eggs, renowned for their exquisite craftsmanship and historical significance, were commissioned by the Russian imperial family. These eggs symbolize opulence and the intricate artistry of Peter Carl Fabergé. Of the approximately 50 eggs created for the Romanovs, 7 remain missing. The tradition of the Fabergé eggs began in 1885, when Tsar Alexander III sought a special Easter gift for his wife, Maria Feodorovna. Fabergé's first creation, known as the hen egg, delighted the Empress and initiated an annual custom of presenting these jeweled masterpieces. Each egg contained a unique surprise, enhancing their allure and personal significance. One of the most famous missing eggs is the hen with sapphire pendant from 1886. This egg, the second in the series, was documented in the Kremlin's inventory in 1922, but subsequently vanished. Its description is vague, with no surviving photographs. Another elusive piece is the cherub with chariot from 1888. Known only from a blurry photograph and sparse descriptions, this egg was also last recorded in the Kremlin before disappearing. The Necessaire egg of 1889, adorned with rubies, emeralds, and sapphires, was sold by the Bolsheviks in the 1920s. It surfaced in London in 1949 before being sold again in 1952 to an anonymous buyer, so its current location is unknown. Similarly, the mauve egg from 1897 has a known surprise, a heart-shaped stand with photos of the royal family, but the egg itself is lost. The Royal Danish egg of 1903 and the Alexander III commemorative egg of 1909 are also missing. The former celebrated the Dowager Empress's Danish heritage, while the latter unsurprisingly commemorated Tsar Alexander. Both eggs have scant documentation, with their last known locations being untraceable. These eggs' disappearance is often attributed to the chaos following the Russian Revolution. When the Bolsheviks seized power in 1917, they confiscated many imperial treasures, including the Fabergé eggs. During the 1920s and 1930s, the Soviet government sold these items to raise funds, dispersing them worldwide. Some eggs ended up in museums or private collections, while others vanished into obscurity. In recent years, there have been sporadic rediscoveries. For instance, in 2013, a scrap metal dealer in the Midwest bought what turned out to be the third imperial egg, which had been missing since 1922. This fortunate find, valued at $33 million, underscores the possibility that other missing eggs may still exist, perhaps hidden in private collections or misidentified as ordinary objects. So yeah, remember to check your collection for any weird eggs. You may be rich beyond your wildest imagination. Also, if you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and click the share button to share it with your friends. The Black Monk of Pontefract. The haunting of 30 East Drive in Pontefract, England, is among the most infamous poltergeist cases in the UK. The story began in August 1966, when Joe and Jean Pritchard, along with their children Philip and Diane, moved into the seemingly idyllic house. Shortly after moving in, the Pritchards reported cold gusts of wind despite the warm weather, mysterious white powder falling from nowhere, and pools of water appearing inexplicably. These occurrences marked the beginning of their ordeal with what would later be known as the Black Monk. Over time, the disturbances grew more violent, with objects being thrown, loud bangs resonating through the house, and physical attacks on family members. The entity's name, the Black Monk, derives from its appearance, a shadowy figure in a black habit, resembling a monk. According to some sources, investigations into the house's history revealed that the site was near the location of a 16th century gallows where a monk was executed. This historical connection led many to believe that the Black Monk's restless spirit was tied to these tragic events. Throughout the years, the Pritchards continued to experience relentless paranormal activity. Diane Pritchard, in particular, seemed to be a focal point of the hauntings, experiencing hair pulling and being thrown from her bed. The family sought help from various sources, including the Catholic Church, which performed several exorcisms. Unfortunately, these attempts only seemed to aggravate the spirit, resulting in more aggressive manifestations, such as upside-down crosses appearing on walls. Paranormal investigators delved into the house's dark history, reinforcing the theory that the Black Monk was a tormented spirit from the nearby historical sites. Despite extensive investigations, including sessions with paranormal teams and ghost hunters, no definitive explanation for the phenomena at 30 East Drive has been found. The haunting of 30 East Drive has inspired numerous books, documentaries, and even films. The 2012 movie, When the Lights Went Out, dramatizes the Pritchard family's experiences, bringing the story to a wider audience. Today, the house remains a popular destination for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. The current owner has continued to open the house to visitors, despite or because of the continued reports of supernatural occurrences. On April 5, 1800, William Dunbar, a Scottish-American plantation owner, reported witnessing a UFO over Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I note that I clarify that he was an American here, as Louisiana was still a French territory at this time, and would be for 3 more years. This incident was later communicated to Thomas Jefferson, then Vice President of the United States and President of the American Philosophical Society. It remains one of the earliest documented UFO sightings in American history. Dunbar's account describes a luminous object the size of a large house, approximately 70 to 80 feet long, moving rapidly across the night sky. It hovered about 200 yards above the ground, emitting a crimson-red light, similar to the color of the sun at sunset. Despite its brightness, the object did not emit sparks and caused no electric sensation. As the object moved, it created a light effect on the ground akin to sunlight, making stars visible despite its brightness. The sighting culminated in a loud rushing noise and a violent crash, similar to a cannon blast, which was strong enough to cause a minor earthquake. Investigations at the supposed crash site revealed scorched earth and damaged vegetation, indicating significant heat and impact. The mysterious nature of the object and its physical effects led to various theories. Some believe it might have been a natural astronomical event, such as a meteor or comet fragment. Others speculate it could have been an early instance of extraterrestrial visitation, given the detailed description and significant physical evidence left behind. The disappearance of Shawn Richie. Shawn Richie, a 20-year-old man from Fraserburgh, vanished after attending a party at a remote farmhouse near Strichen in Aberdeenshire in Scotland. Shawn was last seen on October 31, 2014, when he left his home in Fraserburgh to attend a Halloween party with friends at Kersey Hill Farmhouse in Strichen. CCTV footage captured him visiting a convenience store earlier that day. The group traveled to the party in a van, and what transpired afterward remains a mystery. According to reports, Shawn was last seen running from the farmhouse into a nearby wooded area following a disturbance at the party. The search for Shawn Richie was one of the largest coordinated missing person investigations in Scottish history. More than 200 officers, along with air support, mountain rescue teams, and forensic experts, combed through miles of rough terrain, ditches, and water bodies. Despite these efforts, only a few items of Shawn's clothing, his shoes, a hooded top, and a belt, were found in a boggy area near Greenburn. One prevalent theory suggests he might have become disoriented due to the freezing conditions and possibly stumbled into a bog or other hazardous area. Another theory posits that he might have been involved in a conflict at the party, leading to foul play. Shawn's father has expressed his belief that his son was harmed over a debt, though there is no concrete evidence to support this claim. Shawn's family has been vocal in their criticism of the investigation and the handling of the case by the Scottish police. They have called for a fresh investigation, hoping that new officers might bring different insights or uncover overlooked evidence. Despite these appeals, the case remains classified as a missing person inquiry, with no evidence suggesting a crime was committed. Anyone with information about Shawn's disappearance is urged to contact the Police Service of Scotland. Agartha is a legendary kingdom said to be located on the inner surface of the Earth. The concept of Agartha is closely tied to the hollow Earth theory, which proposes that the Earth is hollow and contains subterranean environments. This idea can be traced back to the 17th century, when Edmund Halley, known for Halley's Comet, suggested that the Earth consisted of concentric shells with separate atmospheres. The legend gained further prominence through the works of 19th century French occultist Alexandre Saint-Yves d'Alvedre, who described Agartha in an 1886 book. He claimed that Agartha was an underground kingdom of advanced knowledge and wisdom, hidden from the surface world to safeguard its secrets. The story was later revived by Polish explorer Ferdynand Ossendowski, who in a 1922 book recounted tales of a subterranean kingdom imparted to him by Mongolian lamas. The mysteries of Agartha are deeply intertwined with various cultural myths and religious stories. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, similar concepts exist, such as Patala, a netherworld inhabited by serpent-like beings called Nagas. Another concept also exists, called Shambhala, a mythical kingdom often confused with Agartha in Western sources. One of the stories related to Agartha involves Admiral Richard E. Byrd of the U.S. Navy. In his purported secret diary, Byrd allegedly describes an encounter with an advanced civilization during a flight over the North Pole in 1947. He claims to have seen a lush green landscape and was greeted by beings from Agartha who expressed concern over humanity's use of nuclear weapons. Although this diary's authenticity is widely disputed, it has fueled many conspiracy theories about the existence of Agartha. According to these theories, Agartha is accessible through entrances at the North and South Poles, as well as other locations around the world. Maps created by these groups often depict a vast network of tunnels connecting various parts of the Earth's interior, with Agartha as the central hub. The phenomenon of the sailing stones in Death Valley's racetrack playa has puzzled scientists for over a century. These rocks, some weighing hundreds of pounds, move across the dry lake bed, leaving long tracks behind them despite no apparent force causing their movement. The first documented account of the sailing stones dates back to 1915 when a prospector noticed tracks left by the moving rocks. Racetrack Playa, where this phenomenon occurs, is a dry lake bed situated in Death Valley National Park, known for its extreme temperatures and unique geological features. The playa is approximately 2.8 miles long and 1.3 miles wide, with a surface that alternates between parched and slightly muddy conditions depending on the season. For decades, scientists and enthusiasts have been proposing various natural and supernatural explanations. Early hypotheses included wind, magnetic fields, and even alien intervention. However, the first significant breakthrough came in the 1970s, when researchers suggested that a combination of wind and ice could be responsible for the movement. In recent years, technological advancements have allowed for more precise investigations. In 2011, a team led by Richard Norris from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography placed GPS trackers on rocks and used time-lapse cameras to monitor their movement. They observed that under specific conditions, a thin layer of ice forms around the rocks at night when temperatures drop below freezing. When the ice begins to melt and break up under the sun the next day, it forms large floating panels that, driven by light winds, push the rocks across the slick mud surface. This combination of thin ice sheets and mild winds was conclusively observed in action in 2014, providing the most compelling explanation to date for the phenomenon. Despite these advancements, some aspects of the sailing stones remain mysterious. For example, while the ice and wind theory explains the movement of smaller rocks, it is less clear how it accounts for the paths of larger boulders. Additionally, the variability in the paths, some straight, others curving, suggests that other factors might also play roles. The sailing stones have increasingly captured the public imagination. Some visitors to Death Valley have even taken rocks as souvenirs, believing in their mystical powers, although this is very strongly discouraged to preserve the natural site. The Vanishing Island of Tuanaki. The island of Tuanaki is an island or group of islands that were once part of the Cook Islands, situated south of Rarotonga and within 2 days' sail of Mangaia. Tuanaki reportedly disappeared in the mid-19th century. The first documented mention of Tuanaki dates back to the early 19th century. Reverend Robert Bourne, a missionary, wrote about the island in 1825, noting its location and the abundance of food available there. By 1842, a sailor had visited Tuanaki and spent 6 days among the natives. However, by 1844, when a schooner of English missionaries attempted to find the island, it had vanished without a trace. The disappearance of Tuanaki has been attributed to several factors, including possible volcanic activity or submersion due to an underwater earthquake. Despite various searches, including one led by explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton in the early 20th century, the island has never been rediscovered. Tuanaki holds a significant place in the traditions and oral histories of the local Polynesian peoples. It is mentioned in the context of migration voyages and as a resting place for canoes traveling to New Zealand. In the 20th century, renewed interest in the lost island led to several expeditions, none of which turned up the island or islands. One theory suggests that the Hamet rocks, located south of Mangaia, could be remnants of Tuanaki. However, the existence of these rocks is also unconfirmed, adding another layer of mystery to the island's story. The Hamet rocks. Okay, so I can't resist a good Phantom Island story, so I had to dig a bit deeper here. The Hamet rocks were first reported in 1863 by J.E. Hamet, captain of the ship the Will Watch. According to Hamet, the ship struck the northern of two rocks while passing between them, damaging it. Hamet provided the exact coordinates for these rocks, placing them about 135 miles west of Orne Bank. Despite these coordinates, the existence of Hamet rocks has remained unverified, and satellite records indicate there is nothing at the coordinates. In the years following Hamet's report, multiple expeditions attempted to locate the rocks without success. Notably, HMS Satellite searched the area in 1886, and the French vessel Faber conducted a thorough investigation in 1887. Both searches yielded no trace of the rocks, leading to skepticism about their existence. The mystery deepened with reports in 1882 suggesting the rocks were located about 150 miles south-southwest of Rarotonga. This placed them directly in the shipping route from Auckland to Rarotonga, causing vessels to navigate cautiously around the supposed location. Despite these navigational adjustments, no concrete evidence of the rocks was found. As discussed previously, given the supposed location of the Hamet rocks, it has been commonly speculated that they are the remains of the island of Tuanaki. I note that it appears that no significant attempts have been made to locate the Hamet rocks since the 1880s, reflecting the isolation of this area. On February 19, 1971, the remains of a young woman were discovered in Lake Panosofsky, Florida, by two hitchhikers. This unidentified woman, now known as Little Miss Lake Panosofsky, was found under a bridge along Interstate 75 in an advanced state of decomposition. She was estimated to be between 17 and 24 years old, with brown hair. She wore a green shirt, green plaid pants, and a green poncho, accompanied by a gold ring and a watch. These details suggested she had been in the water for several weeks. Forensic advancements over the years have provided significant clues about her origins and life before her untimely end. Isotopic analysis of her teeth indicated that she had grown up in southern Europe, specifically in the region near the Greek town of Lavrion. This conclusion was drawn based on the unique lead isotopes found in her dental enamel, common in European gasoline during the 1950s. One prominent theory suggested by forensic experts is that she might have traveled to Florida to attend a Greek Orthodox Epiphany celebration. This event draws many from the Greek community to places like Tarpon Springs, which is relatively close to Lake Panosofsky. Supporting this theory, a Greek crime show aired her case and led to a potential identification. A viewer recognized the facial reconstructions and believed she was a girl named Constantina, who had trained as domestic help in Greece and was sent to the U.S. for work. Despite numerous efforts by law enforcement and continued public interest, Little Miss Lake Panosofsky's true identity remains unknown. The Bogy Creek Monster. The Bogy Creek Monster, also known as the Fook Monster, is a creature that has captivated the small town of Fook, Arkansas, and cryptid enthusiasts for generations. This creature, often compared to Bigfoot, is described as an ape-like being, covered in hair, standing around 7 feet tall, and possessing a foul odor. Sightings of the Bogy Creek Monster date back to at least the 1940s, with some reports suggesting encounters as early as the 1850s. The legend of the Bogy Creek Monster gained national attention in 1971, following an incident involving the Ford family. On the night of May 2nd, 1971, Elizabeth Ford reported that the creature reached through a window of their home, grabbing her while she slept on the couch. Her husband, Bobby Ford, and his brother chased the creature away, firing shots at the creature, but apparently missing as they did not find the creature, nor blood. The next day, large three-toed footprints and scratch marks were found near the house, but no definitive evidence of the creature's existence was discovered. The story quickly spread, drawing significant media attention. A local radio station even offered a bounty of $1,000 for the capture of the creature, leading to numerous hunting parties and increased local interest. Despite extensive searches, including efforts with trained dogs, no trace of the monster was found. The creature's fame skyrocketed with the release of the 1972 film The Legend of Bogy Creek, a docudrama horror film. The movie, which blended real interviews with dramatizations of encounters, was a significant and unexpected success, grossing over $20 million in unadjusted dollars. The film's popularity led to two sequels, Return to Bogy Creek, 1977, and The Barbaric Beast of Bogy Creek Part 2, both of which failed to gain significant attention. Sightings of the Bogy Creek monster have continued sporadically over the years. Reports include a sighting in 1991 of the creature jumping from a bridge. Witnesses often describe the creature as being aggressive or showing curiosity towards human habitations, emitting high-pitched screams. The creature is also sometimes seen crossing highways, generally late at night. Skeptics, however, have pointed to various inconsistencies and the possibility of hoaxes. For instance, an archaeologist from Southern State College analyzed the footprints found near the Ford residence and concluded that they were likely a hoax. He argued that the tracks, having only 3 toes, did not match any known primate, as all primates have 5 toes. Despite the skepticism, the Bogy Creek monster remains an enduring part of the local folklore and culture. Today, the creature's legend is celebrated locally, with the town of Fook hosting a small festival to promote awareness of the creature and bolster tourism. The Curse of the Koh-i-Noor Diamond. The Koh-i-Noor diamond is a 105-carat diamond and is currently part of the British Crown Jewels. The exact origins of the Koh-i-Noor are unclear, but it is believed to have been mined in the Golconda region of India around the 13th century. The first documented mention of a diamond, possibly being the Koh-i-Noor, comes from the memoirs of Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire, in the early 16th century. He described a large diamond that was likely the Koh-i-Noor, which he acquired as a tribute following his conquest of Delhi in 1526. The diamond passed through several hands aside from the Mughal emperors. Other early holders of the diamond included the Persian ruler Nader Shah and the Afghan Durrani dynasty. Nader Shah is credited with naming the diamond Koh-i-Noor, meaning Mountain of Light, when he saw it in 1739. In the early 19th century, the diamond came into the possession of Maharaja Ranjit Singh of the Sikh Empire. His admiration for the gem further elevated its status. After his death, the British East India Company annexed Punjab in 1849 and seized the diamond under the Treaty of Lahore. The Koh-i-Noor was then sent to Queen Victoria and became a part of the British Crown Jewels. However, its initial reception was underwhelming due to its supposedly dull appearance. Prince Albert, Victoria's consort, ordered it to be recut, reducing its size but enhancing its brilliance. Alongside its historical significance, the Koh-i-Noor is believed to be cursed, bringing misfortune to any man who wears it. The curse is thought to have originated from a Hindu text that declared the diamond would bring bad luck to its male owner, but would bless a female owner. Some historical incidents are believed to support this theory. For instance, Queen Victoria possessed the diamond while the British Empire was at the height of its influence, and while her grandchildren occupied thrones across Europe. The diamond was part of the Mughal treasury and was owned by several emperors. Shah Jahan, the emperor who built the Taj Mahal, experienced immense personal loss and imprisonment by his own son Aurangzeb, who then took possession of the diamond. After Nader Shah took the diamond during his invasion of Delhi in 1739, he faced numerous rebellions and was eventually slain by his own troops. The diamond was taken by Ahmad Shah Durrani, the founder of the Afghan Empire. His descendants struggled with internal strife and conflicts, which weakened the empire significantly. Maharaja Ranjit Singh acquired the Koh-i-Noor, but after his death, his empire fell into disarray, and within 10 years, it was annexed to the British East India Company. Today, the Koh-i-Noor is displayed in the Tower of London. Its possession remains a point of contention, with claims from India, Pakistan, Iran, and Afghanistan, all demanding its return. The British government maintains that the diamond was obtained legally through the Treaty of Lahore. The disappearance of Emmanuela Orlandi. Emmanuela, a 15-year-old Vatican City resident, vanished on June 22, 1983, while returning home from a music lesson in Rome. Emmanuela was the daughter of Ercole Orlandi, a Vatican employee responsible for organizing papal audiences. Her disappearance quickly gained international attention, partly due to the public appeal made by Pope John Paul II for her safe return. In the days following her disappearance, several mysterious phone calls were made to the Orlandi family. A man named Pierluigi claimed to have seen Emmanuela selling cosmetics near a bar, suggesting she had run away. Another caller, Mario, linked her to a group of runaways. These calls led investigators to believe that the callers had some inside knowledge about Emmanuela and her friends. The most significant development came when a man with an American accent, dubbed the American, claimed to represent a group holding Emmanuela. He demanded the release of Mehmet Ali Agca, the man who attempted to slay Pope John Paul II in 1981. Despite playing a recording of Emmanuela's voice as proof, the caller's identity and credibility were never confirmed. Several theories suggest that Emmanuela's disappearance was linked to criminal organizations. Agca himself claimed that a far-right group had kidnapped Emmanuela to pressure the Vatican into securing his release, though he has apparently since recanted this story. Another theory involves the Italian mafia. According to this theory, the mafia kidnapped Emmanuela to force the Vatican to repay large sums of money loaned to the Vatican Bank. Enrico de Pettis, a gang leader, was even accused of being directly involved in her abduction. His former girlfriend claimed that he confessed to kidnapping Emmanuela, but concrete evidence remains elusive. One of the more disturbing theories suggests that Emmanuela was taken by individuals within the Vatican. In 2012, a priest alleged that she had been abducted and subjected to abuse during alleged illicit parties, which the priest claimed took place in the Vatican. This theory gained some traction after a friend of Emmanuela claimed that she had confided about being harassed by someone close to the Pope shortly before her disappearance. Further fueling suspicions, documents leaked in 2016 during the Vatican leaks scandal indicated that the Vatican might have known Emmanuela's whereabouts until at least 1997. These documents suggested that she had been living in London under the Vatican's protection, but this claim has never been verified. In recent years, several investigations have been launched to uncover the truth. In 2019, the Vatican authorized the opening of 2 tombs in the Teutonic Cemetery based on a tip suggesting Emmanuela was buried there. However, the remains found were much older than her disappearance. In 2023, the Vatican reopened the investigation into Emmanuela's disappearance, looking into possible connections with the case of another missing girl from the same period. The search for the truth goes on, driven by the hope that one day, the fate of Emmanuela Orlandi will finally be revealed. The Naga Fireballs, also known as Mekong Lights, are a mesmerizing natural phenomenon observed annually along a 300-mile stretch of the Mekong River in Thailand. This spectacle, occurring typically around October, features mysterious glowing orbs that spontaneously emerge from the river and ascend into the sky. The size of these glowing balls ranges from small sparkles to large orbs as big as basketballs, captivating thousands of spectators each year. The cause of the Naga Fireballs has been a subject of intrigue, and various theories attempt to explain this phenomenon. One of the prevailing scientific theories suggests that the fireballs are the result of flammable gases like methane or phosphine. According to this theory, it is produced by bacterial activity in the river's sediment. These gases are thought to ignite upon contact with oxygen when they reach the surface, creating the fiery display. Another theory proposes that the fireballs are a type of plasma orb, generated when electrical energy discharges into the water. Beyond the scientific explanations, there are also cultural interpretations rooted in local folklore and religion. Many locals believe these fireballs are supernatural in origin, produced by the Naga, a mythical serpent-like creature said to reside in the river. This belief ties the phenomenon to the spiritual and cultural practices of the region, particularly local Buddhist traditions. The festival celebrating this phenomenon attracts not only locals but also tourists, adding a significant cultural and economic dimension to the region. Remember to like and subscribe and check out the Patreon or YouTube membership to support the channel further. Shout out to my patrons Iced Mocha, Kurt the Squirt, Monoxide Wendigo, Jeffer Metcalf, Z-Volts, Franz Tech, Unknown Delusions, Faye, Jack Russell, Boomslang, Spookiest Becky, Vespertine, Metanova, Will Roan, Crab Nebula, and Blasphemous.